A very good morning from the capital Jakarta, Indonesia, and welcome to a special program here on TVRI World. Today, experts from different backgrounds, technocrats, academicians, and researchers alike gather here at the auditorium of TVRI to exchange ideas and to share with us their expertise and views.
TVRI and the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, or IEEE, proudly present to you the IEEE ASEAN Industry Roundtable on Climate Change with the theme Enabling Leaders to Build a Sustainable Future. And it gives us a great honor to announce that the president of IEEE, Professor Saifur Rahman, is present here in this special forum.
Ladies and gentlemen, this roundtable discussion will begin with the opening session. And first of all, we will have the activity report by Ibu Agnes Irwanti, advisor of IEEE R10 Industry Roundtable on Climate Change, who is also vice chair of the IEEE Indonesia section and member of the supervisory board of TVRI. The floor is yours.
Keynote speakers, IEEE President Professor Saifur Rahman, and also Deputy Chairman of National Research and Innovation Agency, Professor Amarullah Octavian, our invited speakers, and my IEEE friends, good morning. On behalf of TVRI and IEEE Indonesia sections, I'm truly delighted to welcome you here on the ASEAN Industry Roundtable discussion on climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to expressing my heartfelt thanks to TVRI, kind support in hosting this event. Thank you, Pak Iman, and also all of crew here. Thank you very much. Well, as the special advisors of the IEEE Region 10 ASEAN Industry Roundtable on Climate Change and chairs of today's events, I'm honored to provide a brief overview of the accomplishment achieved by our dedicated team. Under leadership of IEEE Region 10 Director, Professor Lansfung, and also IEEE President, Professor Saifur Rahman. Throughout these years, our team has been actively engaged in a series of meetings and discussions across various IEEE ASEAN countries. Our journey commented with a productive meeting and discussion sessions alongside the Thailand PES, and then aim at comprehending the carbon emission mitigation strategies of the Electricity Generating Authority of Thailand. And in April, we carry out the Green Initiative activity at IEEE Singapore office. The month of May witnessed a strategic dialogue centered on commitment to achieve net zero emissions in partnership with the IEEE President, IEEE Indonesia section and the State Electrical Company, PLN, and that day a new initiative was born, namely the IEEE Region 10 ASEAN Industry Roundtable on Climate Change. And today, we convene to conduct an ASEAN Industry Roundtable sessions moderated by Professor Fort Slumangao from Binus University and also Professor Yuli from Indonesia University. We are also delighted to have the presence of the IEEE President and Deputy Head of the National Research and Innovation Agency, as I mentioned before. And additionally, we are honored to welcome esteemed speakers from industry, academics, governments, and the IEEE Industry Relations Malaysia section. Thank you, Bernard, for coming. And we are truly honored to have with us esteemed experts, top leaders and industry professionals who are at the forefront of climate change. The diversity of perspective and experiences represented here is a testament of the importance of our mission. Ladies and gentlemen, climate change knows no borders, and it is touch every aspect in our life. The technology and engineering community plays a pivotal role in developing innovative solutions to mitigate the impact. And throughout this roundtable, we will engage a fruitful discussion, share groundbreaking insights, and explore innovative strategy. We will delve into the technology and engineering can catalyze progress, adapt to changing climate, and enhance our region resilience. Ladies and gentlemen, we look forward to a day filled with enriching discussions and insights that will contribute to our collective effort in addressing the critical issues of climate change. Thank you for joining us and have a productive discussion. Thank you.
Next, may we kindly invite Professor Amarullah Octavian, Vice Chairman of the National Research and Innovation Agency of the Republic of Indonesia, to come forward to deliver his opening speech.
A very good morning from the capital Jakarta, Indonesia, and welcome to a special program here on TVRI World. Today, experts from different backgrounds, technocrats, academicians, and researchers alike gather here at the auditorium of TVRI to exchange ideas and to share with us their expertise and views.
TVRI and the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, or IEEE, proudly present to you the IEEE ASEAN Industry Roundtable on Climate Change with the theme Enabling Leaders to Build a Sustainable Future. And it gives us a great honor to announce that the president of IEEE, Professor Saifur Rahman, is present here in this special forum.
Ladies and gentlemen, this roundtable discussion will begin with the opening session. And first of all, we will have the activity report by Ibu Agnes Irwanti, advisor of IEEE R10 Industry Roundtable on Climate Change, who is also vice chair of the IEEE Indonesia section and member of the supervisory board of TVRI. The floor is yours.
Distinguished keynote speakers, IEEE President Professor Saifur Rahman, and also Deputy Chairman of National Research and Innovation Agency, Professor Amarullah Octavian, our invited speakers, and my IEEE friends, good morning. On behalf of TVRI and IEEE Indonesia sections, I'm truly delighted to welcome you here on the ASEAN Industry Roundtable discussion on climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to expressing my heartfelt thanks to TVRI, kind support in hosting this event. Thank you, Pak Iman, and also all of crew here. Thank you very much. Well, as the special advisors of the IEEE Region 10 ASEAN Industry Roundtable on Climate Change and chairs of today's events, I'm honored to provide a brief overview of the accomplishment achieved by our dedicated team. Under leadership of IEEE Region 10 Director, Professor Lansfung, and also IEEE President, Professor Saifur Rahman. Throughout these years, our team has been actively engaged in a series of meetings and discussions across various IEEE ASEAN countries. Arjune commented with a productive meeting and discussion sessions alongside the Thailand PES, and then aim at comprehending the carbon emission mitigation strategies of the Electricity Generating Authority of Thailand. And in April, we carried out the Green Initiative activity at IEEE Singapore office. The month of May witnessed a strategic dialogue centered on commitment to achieve net zero emissions in partnership with the IEEE President, IEEE Indonesia section and the State Electrical Company, PLN, and that day a new initiative was born, namely the IEEE Region 10 ASEAN Industry Roundtable on Climate Change. And today, we convene to conduct an ASEAN Industry Roundtable sessions moderated by Professor Fortsluman from Binus University and also Professor Julie from Indonesia University. We are also delighted to have the presence of the IEEE President and Deputy Head of the National Research and Innovation Agency, as I mentioned before. And additionally, we are honored to welcome esteemed speakers from industry, academics, governments, and the IEEE Industry Relations Malaysia section. Thank you, Bernard, for coming. And we are truly honored to have with us esteemed experts, top leaders, and industry professionals who are at the forefront of climate change. The diversity of perspective and experiences represented here is a testament of the importance of our mission. Ladies and gentlemen, climate change knows no borders, and it is touch every aspect in our life. The technology and engineering community plays a pivotal role in developing innovative solutions to mitigate the impact. And throughout this roundtable, we will engage a fruitful discussion, share groundbreaking insights, and explore innovative strategy. We will delve into the technology and engineering can catalyze progress, adapt to changing climate, and enhance our region resilience. Ladies and gentlemen, we look forward to a day filled with enriching discussions and insights that will contribute to our collective effort in addressing the critical issues of climate change. Thank you for joining us and have a productive discussion. Thank you.
Next, may we kindly invite Professor Amarullah Octavian, Vice Chairman of the National Research and Innovation Agency of the Republic of Indonesia, to come forward to deliver his opening speech.
Dear participants of the IEEE R10 ASEAN Industry Roundtable on Climate Change, good morning. On behalf of the National Research and Innovation Agency, or BRIN, it is my honor to welcome all of you today, especially to the Roundtable of IEEE Indonesia section participant entitled ASEAN Industry Roundtable Discussion on Climate Change with theme Enabling Leader to Build a Sustainable Future. Ladies and gentlemen, in this roundtable, we discuss the importance of the pivotal role of innovation and sustainable practice in shaping the future of our region and the world. Nowadays, climate change is increasingly evident as indicated by the more frequent occurrence of extreme weather events and high climate anomalies. The growing anthropogenic pressure on natural ecosystem intensify the impact of climate change making it a matter of serious concern for all of us. In connection with the above, we emphasize the importance of future leaders comprehending global environmental threat through the preservation of the environment and natural resources. The nature should not be perceived as a gift from God, but as a legacy for our future generation. This can be initiated by reducing the use of non-renewable resources and promoting greater effort to utilize renewable natural resources. Climate change depletes the capital for economic development in sector reliant on natural resources such as water and land, in example in agriculture and food production, and also fisheries and marine affairs. We must make the concept of working with nature as a fundamental mindset in natural resource management. Ladies and gentlemen, BRIN have conducted several studies related to climate change. These include monitoring near real-time carbon emission resulting from decomposition of peatland, calculating zero emission in various sectors, researching renewable energy, and developing climate model for both past and future climate. Additionally, we actively participate in the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change activities related to the forestry sector. In relation to reducing carbon emission in the industrial sector, BRIN has conducted research, particularly focusing on energy efficiency, such as smart grid development, and also the development of renewable energy source, including the design and prototyping of wave, wind, and ocean current energy system, optimization of production processes, waste management through IoT and AI, and the development of electric vehicles such as ship, car, and motorcycle, supported by significant advancement in battery technology. We are open to collaboration and discussion regarding climate change and sustainable development. Finally, happy discussion, and it will produce a policy concept for a sustainable future through innovation and leadership. I thank you. Good morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, and all viewers, let us now follow the speech by the President Director of TVRI, Bapak Iman Brotoseno.
Good morning, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, welcome to everyone who's here today. I'm happy to express my appreciation and blessing for all the participants who are here today. And I would like to welcome you all in TVRI main office in Jakarta. And as the public broadcasting service in Indonesia, I would like to welcome to the President of IEEE, Professor Saifur Rahman. The theme for the 2023 Roundtable discussion on climate change is enabling leaders to build a sustainable futures. And I believe this future is not only for the sake of our nation, but more important for all the humankind of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe leaders play a significant role of pivoting innovation and sustainable practice in shaping the futures. Leaders also can build a sustainable future regarding the climate change by integrating environmental issues into strategic planning, aligning their business strategies with the consideration for regulatory and environmental risks associated with climate change and adopting more environmentally friendly business practices. This multifaceted approach includes the implementation of mitigation strategies, adaptation measures, technological development, and research across the various constituent by recognizing the urgent need to reduce greenhouse gas emission and actively working towards transition to renewable energy sources. Leaders can also contribute significantly toward mitigating climate change and creating a more sustainable future for the generation to come. And leaders can also play a crucial role in driving collaboration and collective action in climate change. In other hands, in my opinion, leaders can establish partnerships with the other organizations, governments, and stakeholders to work together towards common goals. Through these partnerships, leaders can share knowledge, resources, and best practice to accelerate the transition to a low-carbon economy. By adopting sustainable leadership practices, leaders can not only reduce their own organization carbon footprints, but also inspire and influence others to take action by demonstrating the economic, social, and environment benefit of sustainable practices. Ladies and gentlemen, based on my experience as the President Director of TVRI, I have learned that the leaders can also enhance their credibility and build trust with investors and other stakeholders by providing transparent and comprehensive climate risk disclosures. I want to conclude with a strong belief I have by adopting sustainable practices, integrating climate change consideration into strategic planning, and promoting collaboration and collective action. Leaders can also build a sustainable future regarding climate change. Leaders also have the responsibility to integrate environment issue into their strategic planning and drive sustainability initiative within their organization. Ladies and gentlemen, leaders have the responsibility to integrate environment issue into their strategic planning and drive sustainability initiative within their organization. I repeat, thank you, and I wish you all a good day in this roundtable discussion. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Bapak Iman Brotoseno.
And now we will proceed to the roundtable discussion led by our moderators, Professor Fort Lumban Gaul, Chair of the Computer Society Chapter, IEEE Indonesia Section.
And Professor Fitri Yuli Zulkifli, member of IEEE Technical Program Integrity Committee and R10 Conference Quality Management. We shall pass the floor to our moderators. Please.
Thank you so much for this chance. Ladies and gentlemen, in these panel discussions, we will already have 4 areas that's coming today, from industry, from government, from academicians, as well as from the community, from IEEE. In these panel discussions, we will have 4 sessions. The first session will be introduced by keynote speech by Professor Saifur Rahman. And then after that, the next we will have the discussion that's related with the site from all of the panelists that come today. And the third, that will be have the discussion from all of the panelists that have in this roundtable. And the last one will be summary. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Fort Lumbangal, as mentioned by the MC, and
I'm Fitri Yuli Zulkifli.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And we will have a quite kind of cozy kind of discussion. So please take your time and then we will discuss on the third round. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce Professor Saifur Rahman with the keynote speech about 10 minutes. Professor Saifur, this time is yours. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome everybody, especially Ibu Agnes for inviting me to be present here in this August gathering. As you'll see in my slide, is very relevant to what we are talking about today. If you look on the left-hand side, that's your picture. In the middle is IEEE climate change. Look at the words, enabling leaders to build sustainable future, leader. We are saying enabling innovation and technology solutions. I didn't see that slide before, your slide, as last night. So we think alike, which is very important. I will go to the next slide talking about where you are coming from. Think about this. We hear three terms. We hear net zero, we hear carbon neutral, we also hear carbon free. Different is not the same thing. Carbon free is the ultimate thing. No carbon at all. Transportation, shipping, electricity, nothing. That's the ultimate thing. So that's not where we are getting. Before we can talk about decarbonization, we must know what is carbonization. So that's the next slide. Here I'm showing you what is happening globally for the last 800,000 years. Long time. If you look at the historical data going that far back, the CO2 concentration in the atmosphere varied between about 180 to 240 parts per million, many years. Beginning late 1700s, began to grow. Beginning mid 1900s, 1950 and so, vertical line. What happened? We began to burn a lot of coal in power stations in that time frame. And coal is all CO2. That's why we talk about coal-free decarbonization. That's the reason. Next slide. Here you'll see the shorter term data in the next slide, where I'm showing you not 800,000 years back, 250 years, let's say, 750 till now. You follow the pink line, which is atmospheric CO2 parts per million in the atmosphere. The blue one is the annual carbon emission, annual. Annual emission remained zero almost till about 1850 or so, then began to shoot up. What happened in 1850 or 1860? Our friend James Watt invented the steam engine at that time, steam engine. How did it run? It ran on coal. That's the reason. So now there's high CO2 in the atmosphere. What is happening because of high CO2 in the atmosphere? That's, I'm calling, impacts of carbonization. Next slide, you'll see the impact. The global temperature, see the heading, global mean temperature change from pre-industrial level, that is before 1850, 1840. It was plus minus 0.2 for a long time, beginning 1900s or so, remaining positive, and starting mid-1900s, shooting up. Now it reached 1.2. It is more than 1.2 today. The Paris Climate Change Conference targeted no more than, no more than 1.5 at the end of this century. That's the Paris target. It's not going to happen. We will be happy to make it up to 2 degrees centigrade. It's the ultimate number. If you go beyond 2 degrees centigrade, the game is over. You cannot control anymore. Very, very serious. And that's the challenge we talk about going forward. Keep that in mind. Next slide. Here I'm showing you some recent data. This year has been the hottest year on record since 1850. June, July, August 23 have been the 3 consecutive hottest months on record from 1950 and so on. So things are happening. Hopefully, we will do some activities to slow down this growth. Next slide. Here you'll see short-term data. I'm showing you on the next slide your data from 1951 till now. All these lines are northern hemisphere, by the way, winter in January through so on, is growing some. 23 is the outlier. So that's the big gap between all the years in the past and 2023. That's example I just told you, June, July, August have been very, very hot globally. Next slide. Here you'll see what are the impacts. I said, what is carbonization? What is decarbonization? Impact. Impact are these things. Next slide, you'll see more details. Flood, forest fire, drought, all that. Example, flood is one thing, too much water, now got drought, not enough water. That's the challenge. It's not just global warming, it's mixed, things get messed up. That's the challenge, mixed up. Next slide, China, Beijing. Pakistan here. Pakistan had a severe flooding last August last year. Why? Too much snow melted in the Himalayas. And the water came down, the river could not handle it, just went over. What could we have done, engineers? We know how much time it takes for the water from Himalayas to get to Pakistan's central part of the country. 10, 12 days. They did not take any action. They sat there. If they took the action, they had 10 days in their hand, move the people out of the way, move cattle out of the way, then they don't die at least. So that's our role as a technologist. Tell the government this is going to happen, take some action. Next slide. Here you'll see Brazil. Brazil has a lot of rivers, a lot of water, but never flooding in Brazil. Point is, things are changing without control. That's my 2 degrees centigrade concern. Next slide. Here you'll see another country, Libya. Very good example. What happened? Heavy rain washed away the dams which were holding the reservoir. The dam washed away, water came through. We could have done something there because we know heavy rain will collapse the dam. The dam can only hold so much water. And we had 3-4 days to move the people out of the way. We didn't do that. 7,000 people died in Libya. Next, Greece. Greece is not known for flooding. They have some forest fire. The city of Athens, everybody got flooded. Next slide. Here you'll see now flood, now it's drought. 2 examples, Italy and China. You can walk on the riverbed. You don't need a bridge anymore. Just walk or drive. Is that what you want? Hopefully not. Next slide. Here you see in the next slide, we saw flood, drought, now wildfire. US is known for wildfires, but it's extremely high level of wildfire. You saw in Hawaii this year, 100 people died in Hawaii from fire. That's the risk. Next slide. Just summary. Europe, France, Portugal, Germany, Greece, Spain, Italy. They are not known for forest fire, getting forest fire. Next slide. You'll see here in Siberia. Siberia means ice, snow, cold. They're getting forest fire. Next slide. Here, final slide on fire. On the left-hand side, part of Rhode Island in Greece, and the right-hand side is dry. This is my proposed solution. I am a power engineer, so there are 3 places CO2 are primarily responsible. Power sector, transportation, industry, and buildings. About third. Since we are power with PLN here, I'm giving you this 6-point technology solutions. First is, in fact, you heard this morning already, energy efficiency. Use less electricity, do the same job. It can be done by change of habits. Second is, use low carbon fossil fuel power plants, meaning you have to burn some coal, I understand that, can shut it down, but make sure we use efficient coal plants. Third is hydrogen and other storage technologies. Important. Hydrogen is a clean fuel, but it has a lot of heat content possible. Number 4, very important, promote more renewables, wind, solar, hydro, as much as you can. Number 5, accept some nuclear. I didn't say promote, accept some nuclear. Because of the new technologies today, small SMR reactors, they're much safer as an option. And finally, cross-border power transfer. No country is fully self-sufficient with their own borders, except maybe China. US buys a lot from Canada. Vietnam, Laos does power transfer. So keep that option open. My point is, the 6-point platform solution, any country can do part of it, if not all of it. I think Indonesia can do all 6 of them as an option for you to think about. Next slide. So that's the solution I am coming from IEEE. Clean technology solutions for climate sustainability. Those 6 things are clean. They're not producing, except coal, I know that, but with the coal, I would provide some carbon capture. So even though you burn coal, adding to the carbon footprint. So that's our proposal. We have a website, climate-change.iee.org. That's where we will put all this information. Next slide. This is an example. That's my landing page for the website. You see things about buildings, solutions, climate change mitigation. Even there is a email address. So again, in IEEE, we are sharing knowledge and bringing people together in one platform from different disciplines to be contributing to society. Next slide. This is our climate change library. We have over 7,000 articles in this library called IEEE Climate Change Collection, that library. That library has dealing with carbon emission, sea level rise, global warming, all of that. So you go to the website, you'll find that. Next slide. Here you'll see our list of conferences. IEEE does every year more than 2,000 conferences, many in Indonesia. We are highlighting which of those conferences are related to climate change. One-stop shopping. Next slide. So here you'll see, next slide, it says my suggestions. We are technologists. I use the word technologist as opposed to engineers because we have computer scientists, IT people. I don't leave them out. Even physics people can be part of the solution. Again, the website is there. So again, point is we can provide technology policy support to the leaders of ASEAN countries. We don't even make policy. We can tell you, if you do this, what will happen? Finally, that's my closing slide. I have put my slide deck on this website, srahman.org, already there. So if you want to go there, download it and play with it. So thank you very much for the time. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Professor Saifur Rahman. Ladies and gentlemen, this panel discussion actually running under with IEEE and then co-host with the National Broadcasting Televisions, TVRI. The next will be goes to the second round, so I will give it the time to Ibu Yuli.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Ford. So for the next session, we will then a slight introduction of yourself and also about your inspiring or insight about climate change. So for the first opportunity goes to the right hand, but because Mrs. Agnes is our host, so the first opportunity is for Mr. Amarullah. Please, Mr. Amarullah.
Thank you very much. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Amarullah Octavian. I am the Vice Chairman of National Research and Innovation Agency from the Republic of Indonesia. So my background is the Navy officer for almost 38 years. So right now, my second assignment as the Vice Chairman of this government institution. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to introduce to Professor Gamantio, please.
Thank you, Professor Ford. I'm speaking in my capacity as the chair of IEEE Indonesia section. My name is Gamantio Hendrantoro. Some things that I would like to emphasize that one important aspect in our joint quest to mitigate the climate change impact is actually the awareness of the serious threat imposed by climate change from the society, and also our efforts to mitigate the destructive impact of climate change. So IEEE, as have been said by Professor Saifur, has an accumulated knowledge about climate change impact reduction, resulting from research that has been published in IEEE conferences and journals. The problem is probably how to share and implement those knowledge, and especially to disseminate that to our society, as well as to our policymakers in every country. I think that's one important thing that we should consider in our effort to supporting mitigation of the climate change impact. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gamantio. Next, please, is Ignatius Rendioko from State Electricity Company, please.
Thank you. My name is Ignatius Randroyoko. I'm from PLN, the one and only state-owned electricity company in Indonesia. And also, my background is power and electricity engineering. And we know that in the energy transition or in the climate change and also the net zero emission programs, PLN as an electricity company has a strategic position in terms of how we can go there and reaching the objective. Thank you.
Thank you. And then the next will be Mr. Kunchoro. Mr. Kunchoro, time is yours.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Kunchoro Wastuwibowo from Telkom Indonesia and also from IEEE TEMS Regional Leadership Subcommittee. Our concern both in Telkom and in the IEEE TEMS is that we can actually the awareness of climate change is one of our motivation for collaborative innovation, both in technology or in technological based business. That's why for the previous years we try to include ecosystem-based business in which we can share not only resource but also capabilities, innovation, and others, so we can maximize and orchestrate many resources to maximize the business, and that's how we can reduce the use of natural resources. I think that's our focus today. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Mr. Rinaldi, please give your insight, towards climate change issues.
Okay, my name is Rinaldi. I'm from University of Indonesia. I'm the member of the Board of Trustees in University of Indonesia. Interesting about decarbonization, but the today issue is a net zero emission. We cannot produce emission anymore since we cannot absorb that. The problem is the only one we can reach net zero emission by using renewable energy 100%. We do not use fossil fuel anymore. Because of that, create a problem in electricity sector. So that's why the name is not the emission transition, but energy transition, because the energy is become a big problem in the future. So that I'm happy to hear from Professor Rahman. He was my advisor in Frigida Tech, and I know him. He's an expert in renewable energy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The time is yours, Mr. Asmi.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Riza Asmi. I work for Ministry of Communication and Informatics. I also part of the IEEE Indonesia on the Government Engagement Committee, the vice chair. So an interesting aspect about climate change, we can say that we need the green tech startup. I think as we know that Indonesia on 2016 has ratified the Paris Agreement to the United Nations Framework Conventions on climate change and on climate change. So I think that after the ratification, Indonesia has witnessed substantial growth in the green tech industry, especially for the startup. So between 2016 and 2020, there was we can say that there was a remarkable increase in the number of the industry players, especially for the green tech startup industry. It is doubling the count from the previous 2011 to 2015. So in this green tech startup, we can divide it into three, as the professor already said that. First, the clean energy transitions, start for the clean energy transition. The second one is the circular economy. And the third one is the natural resource management. Or maybe I simplifying the term, the clean energy transitions primarily focus on the electric generations, and the circular economy startup focus on the reducing waste as well as the sharing resources. And the third one, the natural resource management, focus on increasing efficiency on natural resources. For example, the startup on aquaculture, agriculture, forestry, water management, air quality, and carbon centric. So I think, in conclusions, I think Indonesia green tech industry, especially for the startup, is on promising trajectory, but it requires also thoughtful government policies to address these challenges. So the policy can play pivotal roles, promoting sustainable and greener futures. I think I also welcome input from the roundtable to boost the growth of green technology in Indonesia, especially I think from our speaker, our notable speaker, Professor Saifur Rahman. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Riza. Next, please, Mr. Eddie.
Thank you, moderator, and good morning, everyone. Yes, first of all, I'd like to introduce myself. As been mentioned by the moderator, Prof. Yuli. My name is Eddie Setiawan. I'm basically a telecommunication engineer for the whole almost 30 years now, and been involved in many telecommunication projects such as subsea cable and satellites and so on. So at this occasion, I would like to highlight a little bit about my passion in regard to the climate change issues. I think we know that the telecommunication sector is playing a very important role in providing, capturing the informations and then delivering and then providing the data and so on. But also telecommunication sector also contributing or consuming a lot of carbon energy or contributing a lot of carbon emission also due to the, for example, in the trend of the 5G and 6G, where there will be a lot more mobile phones and also data centers and so on. And I think this is a very important issue that we have to tackle in the future. How telecommunication, on the other hand, on one hand, can provide and support to combat the impact of the climate change, but on the other hand, it also consume a lot of or produce a lot of carbon emissions. So I think, hope that in this roundtable discussions, we can have some point where the telecommunications sector can provide the best solutions and also can reduce the carbon emission by itself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Eddie. Now the turn is Mr. Juatampu. Juatampu is yours.
For this opportunity. My name is Arlo Juatampu. I'm presently as the member of the advisory board of IEEE. And my background is telecommunication, and very much interested, of course, in for the development countries as past director of the Bureau of Telecommunication of ITU, the sister company of the UN. Thank you. Now, I would like just to come up with, in fact, already been raised by our previous speakers. So I don't want to repeat that again. The thrust of my my attention is the other spectrum. We are not aware of the booming danger of climate change. Many of us, yes. Most of us, I don't think they feel that there is a looming danger of climate change. We all know
but we don't feel it very well at this moment, and how responsible each of us are. Some of us might have observed some pictures of vast landscape without trees and some people walking, looking for water and dried rivers. At the same time, industries, vehicles, and home equipment emitting pollution in developed as well as developing countries are still operating. Furthermore, our communities are not well aware and not adequately equipped with trash locations, as an example, devices for recycling trash. Hence, I will come up to the most critical point here. It is very urgent to start educating communities since childhood. Again, since childhood in getting the environment clean, children's schools have to be taught by the teachers in how to keep their school building, homes, and gardens clean and keep trash in assigned locations. And their teachers, certainly, and educators have to have obtained the required education and training for their profession. Programs for middle and higher level of education.
Excuse me, Mr. Juwanto, it's about 30 seconds from now.
Has to be developed for coping with complex challenges. Government policies that provide incentives and promote clean industries mechanisms started by BRIN, but regulations are to be there. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Arnold Juwatampu. Next, please, Mr. Satrio.
Thank you, Ms. Moderator. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I'm here as a member of Advisory Board of IEEE Indonesia section. And I'm happy here because this event is very interesting to me, especially that we can discuss in the roundtable manner with many industrial and also university parties. My concern here is because previous panelists also explained that the government of Indonesia is also ratified the Paris Agreement in 2016, and it is also important to continue with the nationally determined contribution. And as we are here in the public service broadcasting TVRI, and my background also in the broadcasting and telecommunication industry, so I would like to also express that the migration from analog to digital television is also important to contribute the lower carbon emission in this country. Because if you may aware that the total number of transmitter in Indonesia maybe will be more than 500 in total between TVRI and the private service broadcasting. And the TVRI itself, as a government public service broadcasting, have the important role because they will service all over Indonesia for maybe about 375 plus number of transmitter. And in the digital era, the transmitter will be lower power, so will be contribute to carbon emission very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Satrio. The time is yours, Mr. Waidin.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Wahidin Wahab. I'm a retired academic staff from University of Indonesia. Now I'm active at Universitas Tarumanegara, a private university. I'm also an advisory board member of the IEEE Indonesia section. and also one of the founder of Indonesia sections. My view is on the academic field. What I mean is that maybe we will need to increase the awareness of all the academic staff, the researchers in the university, to take part in the research to find better and innovative solutions for the issues of the bad impact of the climate change to the futures. I believe many students have very creative and innovative ideas by the support of the government for the research grant and also the good guides from the professor at the university. I believe we will find more solutions for these climate change issues. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wahidin. Next, we come to Mrs. Anna, please.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Yuli. My name is Dr. Anna Christina Situmorang. I'm a senior analyst of spectrum policy and planning from the Ministry of Communication and Informatics. And let us consider these keywords. First, energy. Second, ICT now and before. Third, ICT beyond now. And the fourth, the impact. ICT consume the energy, but energy efficiency has been increasing in the ICT sector for decades. E-waste also contribute to the climate change. The Ministry of Communication and Informatics have been monitoring e-waste management from the telecommunication industry, and for make the impact, we encourage collaboration and joint planning among stakeholders to solve the climate change issue. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'd like to give to Ms. Anto. The time is yours.
Thank you, Professor Ford. Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Anto Siombing. I am from PT Telkom Indonesia, the leading operator, telco operator in Indonesia and state-owned enterprise in Indonesia. My current role now is in Telkomsel, leading the IPTV product marketing. So my thought about climate change is, of course, in terms of corporation, as a telco operator, we need to use green energy for our business to create sustainable growth. And then we also use the content for educating the society to more use the renewable energy through the content that we promote, and also with the partners that engage with us, producing the content in our channels. And furthermore, in terms of the network and infrastructure, we also collaborate with stakeholder, with the government, with the university to build the network in the, we call it 3T, the front layer, and then disadvantageous and the most remote area. And by implementing that, we can inform the market further. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anto. So we pass Mr. Saifur, because I think in the next session, many questions and discussions will be toward you. So we go next to Mr. Bernard Lim, please.
Thank you, Professor Yuli. My name is Bernard Lim. I'm actually from IEEE Malaysian section. I'm the vice chair or chair-elect. Firstly, I would like to thank Ibu Agnes as well and IEEE Indonesia section for inviting me here to join with the fellow esteemed panelists from Indonesia. It is really an honor. So we all know that technology have moved so fast. We have been talking about 5G, 6G, and moving forward. So we all know that this is an important topic for us to talk. Taking actions involved. You know, we know about reducing greenhouse. We talk about transition to clean energy. Also implementing the sustainable practices as well. And one of the key things that we have here is about fostering international cooperation, and that's where IEEE comes into play. So while time is actually so critical, so it's important that we take action, and that's where all of us together can come together. And one of the key things that I would like to mention is that the key is to act decisively, collectively, to address this critical issue. I'm glad that all of us are coming here today to discuss, and I hope that from here, we not only finish from here, this roundtable, but also to take action moving forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Now the turn is from the host, Ibu Agnes. Go ahead.
Thank you, Prof. Ford. Bapak Ibu, I'm really happy to have you here. My name is Agnes Irwanti, and I'm a member of supervisory boards of TVRI and also IEEE Region 10 of ASEAN Industry Roundtable on Climate Change and IEEE Indonesia Section Vice Chair. I would like to share my thought about TV technology. The effect of TV technology on climate change is complex, I think. And while the direct impact of using a television is relatively small, comparing to major source of greenhouse gas emissions such as transportation and energy products. But the TV industry as a whole does contribute to climate change in several ways, such as energy consumption or transmitter needs consumption, energy consumptions, that television consumes electricity, and the energy source used to generate that electricity can have a significant impact on greenhouse gas emissions. Energy efficient TVs and the transitions to cleaner energy source can help mitigate this impact, I think. And also the manufacturing, the disposal as well. And the others, materials and resource, the productions of TV component, including rails, earth, metals, and plastic can have environmental consequences. And of course, to mitigate the environmental impact of television technology on climate change, there are several measurements that can be taken, such as choosing energy efficient televisions and encouraging the use of the renewable energy source of powering them. And as we know that Indonesia broadcaster televisions have migrated from analog to digital. While digital television contribution is more efficient than analog televisions, there are extended periods of simulcastings in some service area, and there is a need to roll out the dense digital transmission network to meet the coverage object demanded by public service broadcasting responsibility. And as Pak Satrio have details about the like efficiency that digital television can make just now, I think I think TVRI already make a good contributions on reduce the emission gas. Carbon emission, I mean. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Agnes. So this ends our second session. So we go to the third section now. I hope we will have the fruitful discussion in this session. For the first question, maybe I will lead, and then who knows, the atmosphere will be more warmer, yeah, than inside this room. So I think today I'm very happy, because we are part, and we are discussing about climate change. We hope we can then socialize about climate change, awareness to the people, not only Indonesia, but worldwide. So climate change, I think, is one of the hot topics now in Indonesia, besides the presidential election. Yes, this is also a very hot topic today. So for the first opportunity, I would like to address Mr. Ignatius, yeah, from PLN. So what is your, from PLN, strategic strategic towards the climate change, yeah, inside, or maybe you already have some strategic plan, yeah, to overcome climate change and about the zero emission target, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the questions, Professor. And if we are talking about climate change in terms of electricity company, there is programs in our side is about the energy transition program, especially in the decarbonization of electricity production here. We have uh, developed our programs in how we can have specific programs prioritizing how we can reduce the carbonization, and also we can more build uh, renewable energy, more using renewable energy power plants in our power generation. You know that we all know that in long-term electricity planning, PLN has developed the most greener electricity development program by we going to build more than 51% of renewable energies compared to the fossil fuel power generation in our long-term power generation plan. And also, we will try to, we not trying, but we already implementing the future energy primary stages, the future of coal, the future of gas in our power generation development. What I mean about the future coal here is the more greener and more cleaner coal, because 80% of our power generation is using coal as a primary energy to generate electricity. We do it by developing coal mixing plant, the CBF, coal mixing facilities, and also we put greener. We also efficiently and cleanly converted biomass, yeah, to electricity by adding some part of biomass as a partial substitutes for the coal. For 37 our coal-fired power plants, and also we plan to develop to the whole coal-fired power plants in our company. That's it. And also referring to what Professor Saifur has mentioned before, we already have a plan to use hydrogen and ammonia as maybe the most advanced form of the coal in the future. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Very interesting, very interesting. The next issue that we will raise in here about the telecommunication industry, since there are so many issues about energy consumption as well in the telecommunication. In this panel discussion, they already come from Telkom, Mr. Kunchoro, and then Mr. Anto as well. And of course, there are some other experts, Mr. Jiwatampu and Mr. Satrio, and of course, Ibu Agnes, part of the broadcasting. So, start from the Mr. Kunchoro first. What your suggestion about the future about the communication industry that related with the energy consumption?
Yes, I have mentioned earlier that one of the main motivation in collaborative innovation in telecommunication and digital industry is climate change. And for example, in mobile technology, since last decade we try to design more efficient spectrum usage using, for example, cognitive radio technology and dynamic spectrum access. This is not only related to the traffic or the usage of the content, but also to the resource of the energy used to generate the spectrum. I mean, when more people use the technology, the network itself should select which is the greenest source of the greenest source of technology of energy used for spectrum management. It can be used using spectrum DSA, spectrum access dynamically. That's the first. And using the technology, we can also share the resource of spectrum among technology, among operators, and the last 5 years, no, I mean the last, maybe not 5 years, three or 2 years, we start to use blockchain technology also to share spectrum among operators. Means that in vast area like Indonesia, India, China, Bangladesh, or any countries, we don't need to develop so many spectrum resource, but we can just reuse what has been developed by any operator, any technology, to be reused in more energy efficient. That's in technology. But how about in application? In application, we use technology in telecommunication digital, not only to use in household, but also in the industry. For the last 5 years, since in 2019, in Telkom Indonesia, we state that our corporate strategy is to develop our business using ecosystem-based digital business that will directly related to people economy. Means that we will build logistic efficiency improvement, agriculture, fishery, using artificial intelligence that will somehow will also reduce the effect of climate change. For example, in logistic, if we can orchestrate many player in industry of logistic, since the demand prediction or logistic player orchestration, transportation, warehousing, it will means a lot to energy consumption efficiency. Also in agriculture, we start to implement precision farming that will will improve the efficiency of the use of fertilizer and pesticide that somehow will save the environment from further destruction. Also in fishery, we try to detect the growth of the fish and how to limit the catch of the fish, and that's how we can save the future life in the ocean.
Thank
So
you.
there are actually many implementation of new technology like IoT, artificial intelligence, and blockchain to save the environment.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kunchoro. Mr. Gamantio, you have a very long and very strong kind of research experiments in the area of telecommunication as well. So, based on your thought, what do you suggest to overcome the issue about climate change in the perspective of research, R&D, especially in telecommunication?
Okay, thank you, Professor Ford. As has been mentioned as well by Pak Kunchoro, there are currently technologies that are being developed by researchers around the world, including also Indonesian researchers, on how to develop green communications. So I think Pak Satrio previously also mentioned that with the digital transmitters, digital broadcasting technologies, the required or the consumed energy will be down, lower than before when the broadcasting technology is still fully analog. In terms of the application of digital technology and communications, currently we have development in 5G and 6G technologies that allow the use of lower transmit powers, but actually it's not really that easy because sometimes with the lower transmit powers are actually balanced by the need to put more base stations actually, so that the coverage quality could be better, could be higher. I think other people from the industry, from the telecom industry, probably can correct me if I'm wrong, but in general, if we want to lower the required power, sometimes we will have to sacrifice something else. So in this case, the number of base stations could be more, but I think there are still technologies like, for example, AI and so on that can be applied, yeah, to get an optimum point, yeah, the compromise between the power and the number of base stations, for example, so that at the end we can get near net zero emissions, for example. So I mean, the in terms of the energy consumption, we can probably still get a good results. Even if we use, let's say, the latest technology is probably reconfigurable intelligent surface, for example, RIS. Okay, we can the technology to design the RIS has been there and is still developing, but keeping the energy consumption low for those kinds of application will also be a problem that we still have to find the solution. So I think the research should be still going on to find a better solution, let's say a better RIS design, for example, to make the future technology and communications having or requiring lower energy consumption. I think that's what I have in mind for research in the communications technology. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gamantio. So I want to go to the left side. So about government policy on climate change, yeah, we have two speakers from Ministry of Communications and Informatics, yeah, Mrs. Anna and also Mr. Riza, yeah. You also mentioned about the green technology startups. Well, that's interesting. So for first, I want your opinion first from your side about the climate change, please.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Moderator. As we know, in the global perspective, there is a World Telecommunication Standard Assembly that have resolution number 79 that said the role of telecommunications or information and communication technologies in handling and controlling e-waste from telecommunication and information technology equipment and methods of treating it. And in Indonesia, we also have government regulation number 27 year 2020 that said specific waste management mandates that e-waste be included in a specific waste category that requires special management due to its nature, concentration, and or volume. Ministry of Communication and Informatics itself has been monitoring e-waste management from telecommunication industry. The ministry collect information from cellular operator that consists of volume, type, partner, and certificate. And all the report will be report again to the other institution such as International Telecommunication Union and the Ministry of Environment and Forestry. And even though we have been all of the things in Indonesia condition, we have a percentage. There, it is 17.4% of electronic waste that have been collected, processed, recycled correctly. So there are still a lot of percentage that are not processed correctly. That is the perspective.
Okay, thank you. Next, Dr. Riza, please.
Yeah, mentioning my previous statement about the green startup tech, I think on the interesting business aspect, particularly for the startup, I think it's promising that green tech startup companies in the clean energy transitions sectors may take 4 to 6 months to secure for their initial customers. I think it's a good sign for the startup to build the green tech company. And then while those in the circular economy and natural resource management sectors acquire customers within 3 months. I think this is on the good aspect, but the challenge part is the majority of the startups initially, I think, rely on the personal savings for funding for their initial businesses. However, as they grow, I think they become less dependent on the external funding. The next challenge, I think, regarding the collaboration and partnership, while the collaboration among the green tech companies is strong, I think they face a challenge of competitions, and the collaboration between the green tech and the startup. I think only mainly majority in the Java Islands, while and it's not widespread across Indonesia. I think that's all. Yep.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Asmi.
Yeah.
Now we will go to the question to the Professor Saifurus. Very interesting about your presentation. I would like to give the floor first to Mr. Juwatampu. If you have any question, go ahead, Mr. Juwatampu.
Thank you very much, moderator. Before I raise my questions, my question to Professor Saiful Rahman, I would first point out what Dr. Agnes Erwanti has pointed out in the beginning, that this gathering will be the testimony of our trust of all of the IEEE concern. And also I would also also repeat what Pak Brotoseno, the President Director of TVRI, that we need a strategic plan for this. Strategic plan. So what is the most priority? And then, well, now I will go to our president, my president of IEEE. Yeah, you have 6 points of solutions to that. So I would like to know, because IEEE, I'm also proud with that. You have a library, you take up conferences. These are very useful for educating us and feeling the thrust of the climate change. At the other end, what is your opinion regarding my suggestion that we also have to take into account the preventive, not only the solution, but how to prevent this will happen in education. This is my, so as Dr. Agnes Erens, this is now the what she called is the testimony. This is our start, at least here in ASEAN, and starting from this point, that we could get something out of this what is that? This what do you call this? The round table. We need to agree with the others on this. So could you give some light on that? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We heard a lot of things today, including energy transition, education. What struck me in Ibu Agnes's comment that television doesn't need much electricity and it's not energy. Issue is not that. Issue is we play our role in society in different ways. Education is the best tool to help solve the problem, education. Educating people to use less energy for the same job, energy efficiency, education, lighting, air conditioning, many different things. Unless we change our lifestyle and unless we think differently, somebody says, I don't care, electric bill is only 1% of my income. It doesn't matter, it's a noise for me. That is the wrong problem to address. What I'm saying, everybody, rich and poor, developed or developing country, must accept the fact it's a global challenge. That's number one. Unless you accept the fact, you don't act on it. Energy transition, education are two tools to get there. I heard energy transition is a good point. What can IEEE do or doing in this context? I worked with Renewable Energy Agency in Abu Dhabi, their program called Energy Transition Education Network. That's their job. We are a founding member at IEEE of that network. So point is, we have to know these things are there, and then how in the Indonesian context, maybe the TVRI can have small snippets, 30 seconds. What happens if you turn your lights off when you're not in the house? These are the social issues. So even though I'm an engineer, I'm a human being first. So we have to understand your point. Where can we go from here? I would say education, knowledge sharing, and personal responsibility to do this. I'm very happy that the Indonesia section has taken this leadership opportunity to bring people here. You got telecom, power, regulators, TV, print, all of them are here. So I hope this is not the end of it, it's the beginning of it. So you do things more regularly and publish your results to the public. MUE, you can have a course where you use this as part of the curriculum. One final thing, the Energy Transition Education Network for IRENA, they're developing content for school teachers in Africa to teach energy transition. This is something we can help. One final thing, for IEEE, we have a product called Try Engineering. It's an online education material for high school students, school teachers, and engineers. Tryengineering.org, that's the website. It has much content. It's in English mostly. I would challenge Indonesian teachers to have a Bahasa Indonesia version of that. If you do that, I'll give you back-end access. It'll be on the main page. You go there, it's Bahasa. Click on it, everything is Bahasa after that, no English. That way, high school teachers in Palembang, I used to live there, would find something useful to them. So my point is, be useful to society, think about it, and communicate. So that is my long answer to a short question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Saiful. Just a quick question from Mr. Wahidin and Mr. Satrio to the Professor Saiful. Mr. Wahidin has very strong experience about robotics and AI, and I do believe he has some insight about the Professor Saiful before presentation, as well with Mr. Satrio about telecommunication, broadcasting, something like that. Go ahead, both of you.
Thank you very much. Maybe I would like to ask your suggestion, perhaps, in my field, robotics and artificial intelligence. What do you think we can do, or we can make use of these technologies to help in these climate change issues? Thank you. Short.
I do a lot of discussion on robotics. When I come to developing countries, their concern is if you use robots to do something, you will make somebody unemployed. It's a social issue. It's unemployed. So my point is, in Japan, not a problem. Too many old people, not enough young people, for robotics makes sense for them. Indonesia, I would suggest use robotics to aid in what you do, not replace what you do. For example, healthcare, nursing. Doctors need a lot of fresh, sterile equipment for surgery. I've been going to myself. We get stuck, doctor is here, the equipment is not here yet, not sterile. The nurse is sitting somewhere else. If you go to robotics to bring the equipment to the surgery chamber, then nurse could be doing something more important. So nurse is busy running around, cutting all the knives and scissors. Get robotics job. So I suggest use robotics and AI as an aid to what you do, not replacing what you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Satrio?
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Yeah. In the broadcasting industry, as Ms. Agnes also mentioned, that we are in the process to migrate from analog to digital. And during the digital transmission broadcasting era, the signal is converted from analog to digital and from standard definition to high definition, right? So as you may aware that in Indonesia, there are about 80 million households. And per household, maybe about 3 and 4 viewers, right? So according to the BBC Research and Development, as I'm not mistaken, per TV set in the home can produce the CO2 carbon is about 0.088 kilogram per hour. Meaning that if we have, as you mentioned, that we have to make an energy transition through education, right? So educate the community or personal responsibility. So what your suggestion? Because for example, if we also have the habit to, for example, switch off the television when we're not viewing, it will contribute very high reduction of carbon emission. And also in terms of the economic impact, according to the research that per million ton will be contribute to reduction of about 93 euro cost, right? So what is your suggestion to our country for this condition? Thank you.
Well, two different things. You mentioned turn the TV off when nobody's in the room, nobody's watching. We do this for light already, right? In my office has a sensor. If I'm not, it's kind of problematic. If I'm not moving, light turns off. I'm in the room, but I'm not moving. So for TV, you can do something like this. One is you're watching a movie, nobody's moving. But we can put a camera, I've done that, on the bottom of the TV frame facing the audience, and there's no movement there, it slows down here. So you can have, then your remote can be used to turn it back on. Yes, the technology is benefiting and helping us to change our behavior. I said use technology as an aid, not as a replacement. That would be my suggestion to do that.
Thank you. We're almost to the end. But of course, we have also a guest from Malaysia, our neighbor country. So I would also like to know, what is your thoughts about concrete steps, to collaborate together for mitigating the climate change, and also for Mr. Amarullah, you have many experience towards the towards BRIN, and also maybe you can then emphasize from the concrete steps that Mr. Lim shared with us. Please.
Thank you very much, moderator. So I think the first step we have already done is by holding this roundtable discussion. That's already a big step moving forward. And I think a lot of us talk today about awareness, and podcasting, whatever that we talk over here, is already creating the first step awareness to a lot of people. And from there itself, basically, we have already give concrete, easy steps. We don't have to go complex. You know, each of these our country, like for example, Indonesia and Malaysia, have their own transitional roadmaps. But what we want to start is more discussion into actual actions, like just was highlighted by our president, created awareness of, let's say, switching off the electricity. It's practical. Everybody understand that. So this is something that we should start working towards. Now, we just have also an event recently in Malaysia before Prof. Saiful, before coming over here. We have the similar roundtable. So the next step I would think that we should do is basically across ASEAN. And we have joint collaboration work together, practical work, and probably working together with Indonesia. You know, ASEAN is very close. We are close neighbors together. So hopefully from here, moving steps, we can actually form each working group together and collaborate. And that's what is very important. Collective action item together.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, Mr. Amarullah, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. Also, thank you for Professor Saifur Rahman for your presentation and also answering all of the questions during the discussion in this roundtable. So I think it is very important right now to create and to formulate what is the new scheme and new formulation to conduct the cooperation and collaboration regionally and internationally. I do agree that right now the climate change cause so many disaster, global warming, and drought. We could see what happened in all of the big river right now, drought everywhere. And the other hand, there is the melting snow from the pole and also from the Himalaya. So based on my experience as the naval officer, I do agree that right now we are experiencing the raising of the level of surface sea. So I think this is also we experiencing a lot of volume seawater. So maybe I could suggest IEEE to conduct the research on the technology related to the desalination of seawater, because we could transform this big volume of the seawater to consumable water, not just only to human, but also very important to irrigation of the agriculture. So based on also our experience during the archipelagic island forum, that maybe we could robust the Indonesian initiative related to blue bond policy. Blue bond policy for the all industry facilities. That means that all of the industry facilities must achieve the low level of the carbon emission. So we could start from this roundtable discussion, supporting it's our representative government to conduct, to formulate this kind of blue bond policy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So this ends our last session. So before that, I would like to give a small conclusion or summarize our talk today. It was very fruitful, and I hope that we all harvest, what we have shared for today. So in the first session, Professor Saifur explained about the climate change that will conquer and will change many things in our lives and for the future. And there are many ways, that he gave a strategy to conquer this, like use less election, energy efficiency, and also until the promote cross-border power transfer. So I think for this, then we have to socialize people about the climate change awareness, how it will change the life of us and maybe for the future, And then we are also here as academia, and for that we also have to then educate and knowledge sharing, for our generation and the next generation about this. And as engineer, we also have to provide technology policy, to support the leaders worldwide about this important issue. Of course, we have to work together. There are so many obstacles, challenges that we have to conquer. So we have to have a good collaboration together, and we have to have a good strategic plan to conquer all of the obstacles that will come in the future. So for this, we have to have a concrete step as a nation, Indonesia, and of course across Asian and in the end worldwide. So I think that concludes for this session. I give back to Mr. Ford.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Fitriuli. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of our panel discussion today. Before we closing, we would like to give a thanks, sincere appreciation, especially for IEEE, from headquarters, Malaysia section, Indonesia sections, and all of the participants from industry, from Telkom, from PLN, and others, as well as from government that provide a good policy, from Kominfo especially, and indeed from academicians. That is some of us from academician. And the most important is we are parents and of course the part of our children in the futures, where we will give it the future of Earth to our grandson in the futures. So the message is very simple. Our ancestors actually give us as part of this world, and then we will give it to our grandsons, and we have to have acknowledged. Yes, of course. And indeed, this become a very important message for all of us. Thank you as well for TVRI. Very good and very, very interesting and very, very welcome. Probably in the future, Ibu Agnes, we can have the same with different kind of issue. Thank you again, and I'll go back to the MC.
Thank you, moderators. We would like to extend our gratitude to all panelists and moderators for their remarkable insights. And next, ladies and gentlemen, let us now follow the closing remarks by Professor Gamantio Hendrantoro, Chair of the IEEE Indonesia section.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Finally, we have arrived at the end of our roundtable discussion. And there are a few things that I would like to point out after the very productive discussion. The first thing is that, okay, we have known that technology have been developed and implemented in various sectors and fields in Indonesia with regards to mitigating the impact of climate change. But also, I think we still have to continue our roundtable meeting further on to still collaborate and cooperate, yeah, among all stakeholders. So what we have done today should continue, yeah. And then also we should do education, knowledge sharing, and actually interpret and spread the knowledge that has been accumulated from research to students, not just university students, but also pre-university students, and also actually probably to policymakers as well. And it fits with the theme of our meeting today. So it's enabling leaders to build a sustainable future. I just want to also let you know that IEEE Indonesia section have a network of researchers as well as experts, industry practitioners, and government people. And then we have technical society chapters that are very willing to help having research collaboration or any other types of networking. And also we have student branch, IEEE student branches in 38 universities in Indonesia right now, who are also very productive in having activities for their daily activities in student branch. And it is very potential to actually ask them, invite them to get involved in this meeting as well. And then also, there are also funding support from the IEEE actually for doing activities related to humanitarian technology implementation and also pre-university workshops. We can use all of those resources actually to combine those resources together so that we can work together to build a sustainable future. And last but not least, Indonesia section, IEEE Indonesia section has just set up a new local group, which is called IEEE Indonesia section local group on climate change, so that we could all join in the same group. And actually everyone, either IEEE members or non-members, can be the member of the local group. So hopefully this can be the continuation of our roundtable discussion today. Now, to close this meeting, I would like to thank, on behalf of IEEE, I would like to thank Mr. Iman Brotosena, the President Director of TVRI, who has allowed us to use these beautiful facilities for having this roundtable discussion. So please applaud the host. Thank you very much, TVRI. And then also, I would like to thank Professor Amarullah Octavian, Deputy Chairman of BRIN. Thank you for your participation, very productive, very useful for us. And then thank you also on behalf of IEEE Indonesia section. I would like to thank Professor Saifur Rahman, of course, the President and CEO of IEEE, our President, and then Professor Ford Lumbangaul and Professor Fitri Yuli Zulkifli as our moderators today. And all panelists who are coming from the academia, industries, as well as government. And also our guest, special guest from IEEE Malaysia section. And again, the last one, I would like to thank every time for TVRI crew, yeah, who successfully support our discussion today. So thank you very much. And that's, I think, the closing statement from myself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. Please kindly remain on the stage. And now we will present our tokens of appreciations from Professor Gamantio Hendrantoro, Chair of IEEE Indonesia Section, to Professor Saifur Rahman, President of IEEE. Our gratitudes for the resounding success of the roundtable here at TVRI.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, professors. Kindly return to your seats, please.
We would like to express our thanks once again to all panelists and moderators for the valuable discussion and a better understanding on the significant role of technology in addressing climate change.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, and our viewers around the globe, Ieee, an ASEAN Industry Roundtable on Climate Change, enabling leaders to build a sustainable future, has come to a conclusion. Finally, I'm Rahmat Idris.
I'm Rosita Dewi Surosa. Thank you.
And
goodbye.
Goodbye.